Mercedes, would you walk us through the 4 flavor categories of olive oil as the IOC defines them? And, what does each of these types of or categories of oil tell us about its aroma, its taste, its texture, and why, or what determines how an oil is categorized? Was it a harvest date? What are the factors that determine how what category an oil falls in?
We have to say that extra virgin olive oil, as you know, is a produce that has no defect and has some fruitiness. So this fruitiness could come from green fruit and green olive in different intensities, in robust intensity, in medium intensity, in delicate intensity, or could come from ripe olives. In this case, if it could also be different intensities, but we consider that as is not so easy to find ripe olive oils, we consider these four categories in the extra virgin olive oil for the quality award. So what are depending these 4 categories? These 4 categories are dependent of course of the maturity index, but also of different parameters as the variety, the harvest time, irrigation, extraction, geographic conditions. All these factors could affect not only the intensity of the fruitness, but also the kind of fruitness.
Walk us through those 4 categories and what we can expect to find in each one of those types of oil.
If we talk about the 4 categories of extra virgin olive oil that are characterized in the quality award, in the International Olive Quality Award, they are ripe fruitness, green fruitness, and in green fruitness they are the robust fruitness, robust green fruitness, medium green fruitness, and delicate green fruitness. So how to distinguish these categories? Well, between ripe and green, of course, it's depending of the maturity index. Of course, the ripe came from ripe olives and has the flavors and reminiscent of the ripe fruit. And in the case of the green fruitness, as you know, olive juice, it came from green fruits. So depending in a scale of 10 centimeters, in a scale of 10, depending of the intensity of the fruitness, if it's from 0 to, it should be always more than 0. So if it's up to 3, is delicate green fruitness. If it's between 3 and 6, is medium green fruitness, and if it's between 6 and 10, is robust green fruitness. And the way to taste, you have to take the glass, the official tasting glass, first smelling, with the quartz glass inside. The smell should be it's not important to stay a long time smelling. The most important is to do a deep smell. Then you taste it. Usually it should be warmed about 28 degrees Celsius. And also you can do it by the hand, putting in the hand like this and removing in order all the flavors came. So you take it and you do like this, retronasal aspiration. And after that, you drink it and you taste it. And it's the way the smell, retronasal, and taste are the way in this order to to taste virgin olive oil.
You mentioned that date of harvest had something to do with whether an oil was going to be, ripe or green. Are there any other factors that influence that? Maybe where it's grown, the type of cultivar. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Of course, there are many other factors that could affect the characteristic of olive oil. For example, the variety, the harvest time, the irrigation, the extraction, the geographic conditions. And there are many, many factors that could affect not only the maturity index, but also all these factors that that could affect the characteristic of extra virgin olive oil.
Can you give us some examples of maybe the types, the regions that tend to produce the riper oils or the more robust oils, or the types of cultivars?
Of course, they are for ripe, a very typical ripe variety is the Arbequina. Arbequina is very characteristic as ripe. It's very difficult to find good ripe extra virgin olive oil, but the Arbequina is one example. The Arbequina, for example, that you can find in some areas in Spain, in Catalonia, in all these areas, but also in many other countries. But the Arbequina is is very characteristic ripe fruitness every day. And if we talk about robust intense, of course, you can always find oils with different varieties, with different intensities, with different kind of fruitness. But if you think about one, maybe I will think about Arbequina. And if we think about robust green fruitness, I will think maybe an intense Picual. That is one of the largest varieties in the world. And as Arbequina, if I talk about both of them, both of them are very, very common varieties, and one is typically green, but they exist, of course. Ripe Picual doesn't mean that doesn't exist. We are doing now an study at the IOC about the ripe Picual, but if you think about strong, but also if it could be the Cornicabra, also is very. But maybe if you think about one example of this strong green fruitness, and the other, it could be those. And also there are some origins where you can find more delicate oils or more ripe oils. We know that because when we taste the oils coming for the our quality award, for the Maria Salinas Quality Award, we can see that there are some origins where normally they have more delicate olive oils, and there are other areas of production where normally they have more robust green flavors. If we talk about origins, maybe if I think about the oils coming and applying to the Mario Salinas Quality Award, maybe there are origins as Portugal, where they usually have more ripe, very good ripe fruitness. The oils are very, very nice. Also, there are other origins that it could be Tunisia, or that also they have very nice, or Turkey, they have very nice delicate green fruitness. And there are other origins are as Italy, for example, or Greece, that they have more medium or more medium green fruitness or stronger green fruitness. And the Spanish olive oils are normally depending on the area of production. If we talk about the north or the northeast, they are more. You can find more Arbequina or more ripe fruitness. But if you talk about Andalusia, Jaén, all this area, you can find more intense or robust green fruitness, or other as hojiblanca also, that are very nice oils, and they are more medium intense green fruitness. So this, depending on the origin you can find, doesn't mean that you cannot find in every origin very good olive oils and from different intensities. But most commonly, you can find the winners in each category. You could find always the same, not always, but very often the same origin, because they are more specialized in this kind of oils.
Let's move on to talking about why a chef should have more than one olive oil in their kitchen. And you've talked about how this range of olive oils gives chefs a lot of possibilities for seasoning food differently. Can you expand on that? Why should a chef have more than one oil?
I always say, not only for chefs, but also for in the kitchen, in everywhere, the chef, of course, should have many oils in the kitchen, and also everyone at home should have many oils at the kitchen. Why? Because olive oil, I always say that is like other products, that depending on the kind of food, it could be paired with different kind of foods. So depending on the kind of food, you can choose one or the other. And depending on the day, and depending of so many factors, depending if one day you would like to complement your food, or you would like to have some more contrast in your food, or depending if you have an oil, an extra virgin olive oil with different, as they have different flavors. One could have different a huge range of organoleptic descriptors that could be apple, lemon, avocado, pear, almond, oatmeal, high, fresh, grass, whatever. So depending on what you like that day, or what do you like to enhance the flavor you would like. So it's very important to play with olive oil, to have your as a palette paint and to choose every day with different. I said, oh, now I would like to use this oil for this food, or I would like to have some contrast, and I would like, so the chefs are the most indicated to choose and to play and to have a good result in this game. So what we can say is that depending on the oil you will choose, the food could completely change. We did many times this experience, doing the same food, the same recipe with different oils. Very good, all of them very good. If you take a ripe olive oil, you take robust green fruit, or you take a medium, or you take a delicate, and you do the same dish with all of them. The result is completely different. All of them very good, but maybe you prefer one, the other prefer other one. If you are not so used, maybe in the countries or the people that are not so used, sometimes they prefer the delicate or the medium intensity of the ripe. Sometimes when you start learning more and more, you like everyone, but you like also strong flavors. It's very important when you taste different olive oils to start from the lower intensity or the ripe fruitness to the delicate, the medium, and the last one should be the robust green fruit. Why? Because as you could imagine, if you start with the very intense, very pungent, because normally the intense green fruitness are sometimes very bitter or very pungent. So if you start with high intensity, sometimes your tongue could be tired of this strong flavor. And if you taste later a more delicate one or a lighter one, maybe you will not taste almost nothing. It's like if you taste a food, a pastry, very sweet pastry, and then you take another one, not so pastry. If you start with a very sweet, later if you go to you will see that has no flavor at all. So it's better to go from less intensity to higher intensity always, and try to. I will always invite the chefs and the professional that are the most indicated to choose the right olive oil, to use different olive oils with the same, for elaborate the same dish, the same plate, and they will really see the difference. What is the role of the olive oil in the gastronomy, because it could completely change, and this came to my mind how olive oil could also help the consumption of other products, normally very healthy products, and because it's the perfect complement. If you have a salad or have some vegetables or have even raw food, and you want to increase the flavor of this food, or you want to enhance the flavor of this food, the best way is to put some olive oil inside. You will see like this, any salad, any fish, any meat, of course, but all the fruits and vegetables, the fruits are, it's unbelievable how extra virgin olive oil could enhance the flavor of the strawberry, of the orange. If you put some, you can add some cinnamon, you can add some, but you don't need too much. You only some olive oil, and you will see how all the flavors of the fruits, all the flavors of the vegetables, all the flavors. So the olive oil will help you to consume other healthy products. And this is important, not only from the tasty point of view, that is very important. If we talk about gastronomy, we are talking about gastronomy. But if we talk about the healthy point of view, it's also very important, because if you add some olive oil in a piece of bread with some tomato, or in a salad with some tomato, you will increase the absorption of the lycopene. So you will have both positive effects, the positive effect of the lycopene, the positive effect, and will help the absorption of this healthy product by the cell membrane. So it's very important. And we talk, for example, about fish, about omega-3 fatty acid. It's the same. You take all this has been demonstrated by scientific research. If you put some extra virgin olive oil in some fish, you increase the absorption of this omega-3 fatty acid. And so you will have the good taste, and you have also the benefit of for your health. So as you can see, and I'm not talking, of course, if olive oil helps you to consume healthy products, and low fat, not low fat, of course, olive oil is a fat, but it helps you and do more palatable some foods, as fruits, vegetables, salads. So in that case, you will more easily take all these products, and in this case, you will lose weight, and the loss of weight will remain during more time, because if you have to follow a diet to reduce your weight, what do you want? You would like to have, of course, try to eat healthy products, but to have a nice diet that you will enjoy eating it, not be boring with now I have to take another lettuce like this without any sauce. No, but if you take, this is that I'm telling you is absolutely demonstrated by different scientific research. in US and in different countries. If you consume olive oil, you will more easily reduce your body weight, and at the same time you will maintain it during more time. Maybe you will go more slowly losing the weight, but at the end it will be long last and it will be better for your health and better for also for your palate, for your taste, and you will enjoy losing weight. So I think it's very good to prevent obesity, and if you prevent obesity, of course, you will prevent other chronic diseases. So I think it's something to have to bear in mind that olive oil is a very healthy product, not because of its composition, rich in monounsaturated fatty acid and also antioxidants, and vitamins and polyphenols, but also because helps the consumption of other healthy products.
I remember having the first time I had an orange with olive oil in Spain. It was just such a shock, and it was so delicious.
If you put in that, you put some cinnamon, if you like cinnamon. It's great, believe me, because it enhances the flavor. It's unbelievable. With the strawberry, you have to taste it also with the strawberry, with other, but you can play because you discover different, and each oil is completely different. It's like, I don't want to say here, but it's like with the wine, depending on the wine. Normally, let's say, you don't take only one wine in. Always, you take different kind of wines. Imagine olive oil, that one bottle could long last for more time. The most important is to keep the olive oil in a dark, cool place, in the kitchen, it's true that it's very important once the bottle is open to use it, of course, but to protect it from the light and to avoid the oxidative process. But it's very important, and I encourage the chefs, and I encourage, of course, the chefs more than any other person, because they are really professionals and they will. But once you learn and once you use olive oil, you discover all this world, and it's very, you have so many possibilities, and increase the different foods, the possibilities and the palatability of the different foods, that is very difficult to come back and not using anymore. You use and you enjoy more and more using olive oil. This is something that I'm sure, because sometimes when I travel, sometimes when I go, and many other people saying, and we are used to olive oil with everything, with the bread in the morning, with everywhere, because you can taste the bread, for example, in some Mediterranean countries, as Spain, is very common to have the bread with the tomato and then olive oil, and sometimes a little salty, or sometimes with some ham or not, or only olive oil with some salt, or not salt, or only olive oil with the bread. This is wonderful. It's very, very good for you, because it's a very simple food. Good bread with good extra virgin olive oil is the simplest. But for children, when my parents were young, my grandparents were young, it was very common in some Mediterranean countries, in some producing countries, using the bread with olive oil and some sugar on it, because at that time was a period but this is only to explain you that nowadays is not so used, maybe because we are not using sugar or salt so much, or we are not using, but what I mean is that it's the versatility of this product, that in a very simple way, you can have a wonderful food. You can have a wonderful appetizer. You can have before and taking it as appetizer before in the meantime, you are waiting you are waiting your order or your lunch, and also you can have it as dressing, you can have it for cooking you can have in so many ways, and you can have different, and maybe the favorite for me is not the favorite for you, or is not the favorite for the chef that is watching this video, but the most important is that you can enjoy, and at the same time you can have a product that is good for you, and you can increase the possibility to use other products that are also very healthy and good for you. So I think we are it's a unique product with tasty, healthy, and with nutritional properties that are absolutely unique.
Can you give some examples, either from your own cooking or from restaurants that you've been to, of good pairings between a type of oil and the dish? Any great examples of pairings that you can think of?
Yes. For example, if we take, this depends, because as I said before, we can pair by complementing a food or by contrast. There are some times that you take something very salty, very sweet together, and it's great. So you can have both. But if I have to choose, maybe I will use a delicate green sweetness with flavors of herbs, green leaves, and tomato. It could be very good for roast, for fried, for sauteing, for seafood. If I use medium green sweetness, rich in aromas like almonds or fresh herbs, it could be great for oily fishes, for preserve to preserve other food, to use it for cheese, for sometimes even for olives, for salads, gazpachos, albaladejo, cooked white beans, different dressings, or vinaigrettes. This could be very good. And then the robust green sweetness, it could be, and it has an intense flavor of wood or grass or green fruit. So it could be very nice with beans, pulses, culinas, the flavor of vegetables, legumes, fruits, cheeses. Also will be perfect for chickpea, for soups, legumes, hummus, for example, also for frying. Because we need to bear in mind that one of the I would say one of the good uses of olive oil also is for frying. Of course, if you use it in raw, you can have all the taste and all the aromas and all that, but also for using for deep frying is a wonderful oil to be used for deep frying, not only because of the digestibility, that is very important. Again, I came back to health, but the flavor and the crust that if the chef will realize immediately, because when you put the olive extra virgin or even other categories, but when you put the olive oil in the pan, you will see that increasing has the smoke point very, very high, and you will see that the olive oil seems that increase. It's like if you put a little bit, but it seems that you have more. And you can use and reuse more times than any other oils. This is without having any damage of the oil, because this is, they made many scientific research on that, and they realized that when you fry with olive oil, there is a crust in the food that avoid the penetration of the oil inside the food. And this is very important because like this, the food will not be oily, will be very more light, more not so heavy for the stomach, not will be more easily digestive and more digestive. So it's very important to bear in mind that. So, and when we talk about ripe fruitness, it could be has ripe aroma, as ripe fruit aroma as apple, banana, almond. So this will be very, it will be ideal for cold salads, for mayonnaise, for vinaigrettes, for fish, seafood, and also very good for desserts and for pastry and for it's very nice also to use olive oil for pastry. Normally we are used to use butter. We think that it's not possible to use other, but if there are some oils that are very good also to use it for pastry. And this, in these cases, if I have to choose, maybe I will choose a ripe fruitness extra virgin olive oil.
Just one final question. You've touched on it a little bit, but would you talk about how some of the secondary characteristics that you find in olive oil might influence the way you use it? I mean, would you use an oil differently if it had strong artichoke aromas versus those banana aromas? Let's talk about that.
Well, it's true that this is not so important when we talk about the classification of olive oils. Because for us, from the point of view of the International Olive Council, the most important is that an oil is a real extra virgin olive oil that has no defects and has fruitness. But from the point of view of the chef, I can understand that it's so important. And there is a huge range of flavors, of gustatory, tactile, kinesthetic characteristic that you can find. And what we did is we define all these aromas and all these characteristics in a specific method that we have adopted at the IOC level for extra virgin olive oil that in this case it was for extra virgin olive oil with DOP, but the range is unbelievable because you can have all kind of we talk about you talk about artichoke. We can have all the green fruitness. If we talk about herbs, fresh herbs, grass, tomato, green almond, artichoke. We have figs. We have some huge range that you can find, but also you can find the ripe fruits as ripe banana, as almond, also more you can have the ripe apple. You can have, as I said, so many, also sometimes aromatic herbs, sometimes meat. They're a fan of different flavors, and it's unbelievable because sometimes they are, and it's important not only the flavors, the secondary flavors, also there are other characteristics that are not maybe the flavor of banana, artichoke, or whatever, but also sometimes is the how long these flavors still in the mouth. For how long? This is what we call persistence, or what we call also the balance of the extra virgin olive oil. Is that these flavors are in the perfect balance, as we said. So sometimes you find an oil that is very good. You cannot say that it's not extra virgin olive oil, but sometimes it's very pungent or very bitter, or you cannot find. But there are other times that you say, oh, this one is really balanced olive oil, or this one is very persistent in the mouth. Sometimes you take, sometimes they are, as I said before, these are the official tasting glasses. As you can see, they have different colors. What that means, that the color is not important to classify an olive oil. It's not important, but the consumer sometimes like to see the color and like to enjoy with the color. But for the official taster and for the professional, it's not important the color, because you can have, because sometimes the color could affect the judge to, or could have if you see one very green, you could think that it's very green, intense green sweetness. And sometimes yes, sometimes no. And sometimes you could have one yellow and you said, oh, yeah, I prefer this one, or I prefer that one that is the density, because it could, there are oils that has different, there are some of them that are more fluids, others that are less fluids, some more yellow, more gold, other. The palette of colors is also very, very interesting, and very, from gold to green, you can find a huge and varieties. And normally we use this for not be affected by the color. Because one very important thing, the color is not important in the taste, in the official tasting of olive oils. We have to bear in mind first noise, then the retronasal, and then the taste. But not the color. The color, as you can see, we use dark glasses, and it's very important to play with the different olive oils. To do this experience that cook the same food with the different olive oils and to see the difference. This is one suggestion that I do, that I propose, and also one very important thing apart to play with contrast and to complement the different food, and to bear in mind that it's very important to keep away from the sun, and to preserve from also to stock it in a very in a cool, dark place. Having all this, you could enjoy, and you can use since the beginning of a lunch or dinner, or until the end, as appetizer, dressing, cooking, frying, pastry, fruits, dessert, absolutely all the steps of a good meal. So if I have to choose a product with wonderful tasty characteristic flavor, and also healthy for your diet, of course, and with a versatility for using everywhere, of course, I would always choose extra virgin olive oil, olive oil in general, because the different categories. Today we were talking about extra virgin olive oil, but we have to say that the different categories of the oils has different uses, different possible uses. So this is also something very important. If one oil has a little defect, is not so good, it could be used for something, for other purposes, but it could be used and very well used. Or even the olive pomace oil could be used for refined, or the olive oil composed of indigenous olive oil and refined olive oil has also some lot of properties that could be used in different for deep frying or for cooking. So I suggest the best quality. Of course, we are talking about extra virgin olive oil is the best quality, but there are other qualities that also are very good from the nutritional point of view, and could be used for different purposes.